StabilityWOD, episode 13. If you're not a CrossFitter and you don't know what the word WOD means, it is workout of the day. And that's why I'm trying to post a video every day so that you can all learn more about stability. Now, mobility, which maybe a lot of you have talked about and worked on, is your ability to improve your joint, muscle, ligament, tendons, ability to move through space. So you're trying to improve your range of movement. Stability is the other side of the coin. And stability is your ability to control your movement through that range of motion in a healthy way. So they go together. Most of us need some mobility in joints that are stiff, and most of us need some stability to either keep that new movement or to better control movement in joints that are moving excessively or that are a little more loose. Today, we're going to talk about an area that is commonly, I want to use the word hypermobile. Unstable is not a great word. Today, we're going to talk about a part of the body that's generally mobile compared to other areas. The neck is like the low back, often a little bit looser than other parts of the body. I'm not skipping over the thoracic spine, which is generally a very stiff part of the body. We're going to use this to set the stage to come back and talk about mobility and stability in that area later. The neck is a very important part of the body because it feeds the head and face. It also feeds the shoulder, elbow, and hand with nerves that give it power, sensation, feedback for where we are in space. So most of the time when I treat a client with hand pain, elbow pain, shoulder pain, sometimes even shoulder blade pain, there's a huge component that's coming from the neck, which is very often neglected. Now, this is how I treat day to day. Because I work with a lot of athletes, I see a lot of movement faults in this area. So today, I want to take a second to give you some examples. The first one is rock climbers who spend a lot of time this time of year belaying their friends. So they're in hyperextension as they feed out rope, and they're just kind of resting there. Unless they have belay goggles, which we'll come back to another time, they have a lot of shortness, compression, tightness in the back of their neck. They have a lot of length, excessive length, and weakness in the front of their neck. Now, I like to call this the abdominals of the neck. Some other people don't love that metaphor, but I think it's a very simple way to compare the importance of the abs in the lumbar spine to the importance of these muscles in the front of the neck. So generally, for these athletes, and cyclists another example, in the spring, they're riding, they're getting used to this position again, and they're generally spending time with this part of their neck very long and weak, this part of their neck very short and compressed. CrossFitters who are working out year-round, who aren't familiar with managing their neck position, tend to do pull-ups like this, where they put their chin over the bar in order to meet that standard, but they don't do it in neutral, they do it in extension. There are times when they're picking up a deadlift, where they're picking it up from the ground and they're looking at their friend in front of them. There are times when CrossFitters are going to throw a wall ball and they're looking up at the wall ball as they squat down and throw. Now we're going to come back to some of these things specifically, and I'm going to give you some examples of how to change your behavior with real intention. But first, I want to talk about how to feel neutral. Now, if I stand looking at you or looking to the side, you can see that if I tuck my chin in, I can shorten up the abdominals in the front of my neck. I can lengthen out and decompress the muscles in the back of my spine, and that gives more space to the nerves that exit my spine, travel out into my arms. When we spend time with our neck in a neutral position where the muscles in the front and back are balanced and our spine is stacked, the nerves that exit the spine are much happier. They're much better able to deliver power to the arm. And so our function in our arms is better. We're much less likely to break down, and we have a much more stable spine than we do when we're here and things are collapsed. It's kind of like a building that's leaning over. It has very little ability to resist gravity when it's here compared to here. Now, some of you see yourselves at work. Here I am at my computer. While we're not doing heavy work or playing sports, for a lot of us it's chronic. It can also get us into trouble. It can also wear out our mid-cervical spine, and it can also lead to things like elbow pain, carpal tunnel syndrome, tendonitis in the hand that either exists on its own or carries over into our sports in some way. So we're going to get a foam roller, and we're going to spend some time exploring how to find neutral and how to engage the muscles, the abdominals of the neck. All right, you guys, here I am on my super sweet foam roller, and I want to demonstrate what I see in a lot of my clients when they first lie down on a flat surface. Chin sticking out, neck's really long, the abs are overextended. I have compression in the back of my neck. You can see all the daylight coming through there. There even is, in a lot of people, some creasing that you see in the neck, which is a sure sign that they're hyperextended, whether they're lying down or not. And there's a lot of compression in this position on the back of my neck, which is going to affect the nerves that come out into my arm. So first thing I cue people to do is to learn how to draw the chin back to neutral, elongate the back of the neck out the top of the head, and I encourage them not to use a lot of muscle activity to do this. I don't want them choking themselves and bearing down with muscle tension here. I just want them to find a nice position they can relax into. Now know that not everybody can do this, and some people I have to do some manual therapy to get them to the point where they can actually access this position. We need to use mobility tools in order to get there. But for most of us that just have bad habits, this should be a position that you can access pretty well. Once I get people to this position, I try to get them familiar with it. So I'll have them do a little bit of toggling between what feels natural and this new sort of goal position, this ideal position. Once they're comfortable there, and they feel like they can maintain that without too much muscle activity, we'll start to do a little bit of unweighting of the back of the head. Now, it's important that the chin stays drawn in. It doesn't stick out when they go to lift. So I want them to be able to maintain neutral and lift their head. This is when you get a feel for just how smart you are, how heavy your brain is, when you realize how much weight there is to lift off the foam roller. Now I'm just lifting to the point where I'm unweighting my head from the roller. I'm not flexing up right now. I'm just maintaining a little bit of weightlessness in neutral. At first, I encourage people to hold this for about 5 seconds and do about 10 repetitions to start to activate the deep abs. This muscle is called the longus colli. I'll be referring to it again. The deep abs of the neck. Get it woken up, get it used to being short, and get it used to stabilizing the spine from the front as you're inhibiting or lengthening the muscles in the back of the neck. Now, after you've done 10 repetitions of that with success, you're probably ready to integrate that into your sports, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. If this is hard for you though, I usually recommend people do it in their car seat, reclined, maybe at a 45-degree angle to start so that there's less gravity. It's less work for the deep muscles in the neck. There definitely should not be any pain, so give that a try. The other alternative is to lean an ironing board, or you can even lean your foam roller against the wall at an angle and start working there until you can gradually take the angle down to being supine, being flat on the ground. So again, tons of application for this. Mostly I want you to understand how your neck not being in neutral compresses and affects the nerves as they travel out from your neck into your arm, and just how commonly that causes shoulder, elbow, and hand problems that are missed when people are getting treatment for their injuries. So give this a try. Thank you for watching. Please tune in tomorrow when we're going to be talking about the applications of this. The way you'll make sure you don't miss it is by clicking the subscribe button, and sharing with your friends is always appreciated, as are comments and questions. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks.